points, poorest regions and epidemics epicenters. International organizations carry out their activities in parts of the world where they are critical for people. They unite countries and continents, save millions of lives and solve global problems. Watch more of this in Kazakhstan International Vectors. Annually, tens of thousands of people in Asia and Africa die after being bitten by ill animals, dogs, foxes or raccoons. In case if a person contacts rabies, the prognosis for the disease is very unfavorable as the 100% mortality rate. The extinction of bees can kill all humanity within several years. These are the words of Einstein. The ecological pyramid is a very comprehensive mechanism where each species plays its role in the food chain. A mysterious mountain cat, snow leopard or ounce, is on the verge of extinction. According to the most optimistic calculations, there are only 4,000 snow leopards left in the world. And what is more, their number continues to decrease due to attacks of poachers. Ounce skins are most expensive in Russia and the USA, where their price varies between $5,000 to $15,000. In Pakistan and China, they cost on the average $1,000. In the meantime, in Mongolia, they are valued at only $25 to $50. For the last 20 years, the number of snow leopards in different parts of the world reduced sharply by various reasons. First of all, it is due to poaching and illegal hunting. Ounces are killed for their skins. They are also used in the Chinese medicine. The reduction of food reserves also leads to their extinction. Trade of endangered species is the second most profitable illegal business after drug trafficking. The annual turnover in this sphere exceeds 150 million euros. Trafficking in snow leopard skins is not an exception. Indeed, one fur coat of this animal can cost tens of thousands of dollars. Nowadays, many countries take effort to preserve these rare species. Along with heavy fines, in some states, the killing of an ounce entails imprisonment. All we coexist with various life forms and all we are a part of a single ecosystem. No integrated ecosystem can function without some of its parts. Animals are also a part of this system, and if we not change our attitude towards them, the consequences can be catastrophic. How and where did Kazakhstani zoologists search snow leopards? Who saved tens of bulls from bullfight? And what are the 5 freedoms animals can reckon on? Coming up next. Bull rings and thousands of spectators, handsome toreros and huge bulls. Bullfighting attracts not only tourists but animal activists as well. The last ones advocate against this kind of performances. This ancient tradition is prohibited in some regions of the country. The Spanish Parliament adopted a proper law after a local association jointly with the World Society for the Protection of Animals gathered more than 3,000 signatures of bullfighting opponents. The main objectives of the Organization for the Protection of Animals are wildlife protection, well-being of wild animals and pets, protection of their habitat, and reduction of their commercial exploitation. The World Society for the Protection of Animals is an international non-profit association established in 1981. It has its offices in more than 150 countries throughout the world and unites more than 900 organizations. Its headquarters is located in London, the United Kingdom. The global objective of the World Organization for the Protection of Animals is to create a world free of cruelty and where animals' well-being will be a priority. This is what we are going to achieve by means of various campaigns and activities. The Universal Declaration on Animal Welfare helps to achieve these goals. It includes such the notion the 5 freedoms or a compact of rights for animals living in captivity. This is the right for a well-being when there is enough water and food. This is the right for a high quality of life, the right for the absence of stresses and abusive treatment, as well as the right for so-called natural behavior. Despite the little number of representative offices, the organization continues to accomplish its mission via partnership funds. Our cooperation is based on the exchange of information and experience. We are given general rules, some of them we apply on the local level. 2 years ago, the countries with the habitat of snow leopard adopted the Global Snow Leopard Conservation Program. Its main goals are the restoration of the animal's ecosystem, protection of the animals against poachers and local population, which kills ounces in order to protect their cattle. Under this project, we examined all the habitats of snow leopards in Kazakhstan. The project was implemented by the Association for the Conservation of Biodiversity of Kazakhstan with the participation of the Institute of Zoology. We gathered all the data and calculated the number of snow leopards. As of 2014, there were about 110–130 species. This information was obtained by the group of scientists by means of trail cameras. In total, about 50 devices were installed. In future, their number is planned to be increased. The trail camera can be fixed on a tree, for example, on a fir tree. Here we adjust the height and belt length. After that, we fix the camera and pull in the locking. The project involves the installation of 50 such cameras according to the international standards valid in Junga Alatau Nature Reserve. Did trail cameras help the researchers and how to avoid the mass extinction of animals? Coming up next. The 20th century was identified as lethal for animal life. Thus, several subspecies of tigers became extinct last century. Now we can see Tasmanian tiger wolves only in pictures, as all they were eventually killed. Meanwhile, the establishment of animal protection funds throughout the world began only in the early 1950s. It didn't happen at once. As for Vispa, it appeared as a result of a merger of two animal protection organizations. It is a true fact that people would gather and try to solve the problem only if it exists. And the problem really existed. As a result, a public interest group was created which saw the problem of cruelty towards animals and wanted to change something. The year of 1992. The bear protection campaign, which is still underway, was launched in the US. Public activists advocated against the exploration of dancing bears, their baiting and agricultural breeding. Illegal bear fighting is still being practiced in a number of countries. Specialists confiscate animals and send them to special rehabilitation reserves. Other wild animals are treated in the same way. For today, it is a single natural reservation of brown bears suffered from poachers and cruelty. It is a forest with an area of about 70 hectares where currently live about 30 species. The number is constantly growing. People bring their injured animals which were nearly killed. There they are rehabilitated and prepared for further release to their natural habitat. Experts say that in some cases it is important to reduce animal populations instead of increasing, especially it concerns homeless dogs and cats. Only in the US shelters annually their number reaches 7 million. There are some countries where this problem is completely ignored, let alone the necessity of their vaccination. Vaccination of animals is necessary. For instance, in Europe or in the US, all the animals are subjected to vaccination. As a result, the situation there is under control. Thus, whereas we frequently register cases of distemper and parvovirus among dogs and rabies among other animals, in Europe such cases are excluded owing to timely vaccinations of animals. The World Society for the Protection of Animals does not recommend to ignore the obligatory vaccination. The organization developed a project helping to determine immediately whether a pet owner vaccinated his animal or not. The purpose of this project is to control capturing of animals. It does not allow to take those ones which were duly vaccinated. In this case, a red collar will be put on vaccinated pets in order to reduce the number of captured animals. Nowadays, our population has become more cautious and in most cases animals are vaccinated in good time. Thorough studying of threats to snow leopards is the main objective of the Kazakhstani scientific group, and only after collecting all necessary materials it will be able to develop effective methods aimed at preserving and increasing the population of these wonderful animals. The action plan should be implemented on the state level. It should include the issue of calculation the number of species and necessary measures for the conservation of the species. Snow leopards are not the only endangered animals. According to the statistics, about 23,000 plants and animals were put into the list of declining species in 2015. Plowing of fields, resource development, construction of roads, cities and urban centers, extensive farming result in desertification and degradation of vast areas. All that, of course, affects the animal world. At a rough estimate of international organizations, 2% of all amphibians and reptiles, 3.5% of freshwater fish, almost 5% of birds, and 6% of mammals are now on the verge of extinction. An animal clinic on wheels. The World Society for the Protection of Animals calls countries for an active use of mobile animal clinics. Along with visiting of gravely ill pets, such vehicles are capable of going to remote areas. Mobile clinics are vehicles equipped with all necessary devices. They sterilize animals and inform people about advantages of sterilization. They also instruct people how they should behave towards animals and help them. At the same time, sterilization remains the most effective method of reduction the number of stray pets. Another global objective of the organization is to preserve the environment along with the animal world. According to the International Group of Biologists, our planet has entered into the so-called sixth phase of animal extinction. The research has shown that the number of species dying in our days is equal to the number of breeds which disappeared within 10,000 years. The massive impact of humans on the environment can be compared with the impact of geological phenomena which led to the appearance of seas, oceans and mountains. Even 100 years ago, academic Vernadsky called this phenomena noosphere. The restoration of flora and fauna may require millions of years. However, joining efforts of international organizations can help to avoid catastrophic consequences, biologists say. VISPA stands for building up a relationship based on respect and friendly attitude. Proper standards and regulations are being developed in the light of legal framework of states. VISPA always places emphasis on it. 20 years ago, 14 wolves were released to a nature reserve in North America. In those times, scientists could not even think that it would dramatically change the park's flora and fauna. The four-legged predators reduced the number of deer, which then resulted in intensive revival of vegetation. The number of trees increased 5 times within 6 years. The area became a habitat for beavers, which started to erect dams, as well as for ducks, muskrats and many other animals. Along with that, scientists noticed that water rodents changed and stabilized river flows and reduced soil erosion near river banks. In fact, a dozen of wolves could change the geography of the entire park.